Fiesta Friday continues right here on KUAM, and of course we thank you for watching, and we continue our ongoing profile of the Department of Integrated Services for Individuals with Disabilities, and it is my great pleasure to bring back to the Harmon Studios Ben Servino. It has been too long, sir. Welcome back, Hafa.
Thank you, Hafa.
Yeah, so
really
good
happy to
see
be
you.
here.
Yeah. Well, one of the hallmarks about your career and your life's work has always been the use of technology for the island's disabled community, and that is a very broad definition. But tell us first off, how did you get into technology so much? Because we're both geeks. We live it, we practice
right.
it, we love it. We always think about ways to apply it into our respective industries.
Well, I've always been an avid technology person since I was a little kid. They always tease me as a MacGyver. You know how the show MacGyver, you're always tinkering with toys.
Engineering training.
Engineering training. I love tinkering with toys, and I'm just fascinated with technology and how it could be utilized to address a lot of the barriers that people with disabilities have to deal with. Simple things like an eyeglass, again, addresses the visual impairment. Hearing aids, and it runs from low tech all the way to high tech. I used to run the GSAT program up at the university, the Braille System for Assistive Technology, and we provided a number of awareness activities. We demoed the programs, the activities, and we had an annual conference. So to this very day, that program still exists. So I'm really proud to see it, to fruition and improve, and it's a dynamic and a very beneficial program for our community.
And a lot of people out there don't realize that, like you were mentioning low tech, which I think is very apropos, because our friends on the island who are vision impaired, the Braille system is itself an application of technology.
Oh, absolutely. And now they're called the Braille and Speak, so it utilizes, again, the audible sounds, and people with disabilities, depending on their disability, they have to compensate for those disabilities. So if they're visually impaired, they have to rely on their hearing, their sense of touch. So they compensate for those deficits, and they utilize the technology and expand from that.
And to continue your passion for working with the island's disabled, what services does DISID now provide, and how do you help Guam's disabled in that regard?
Sure. DISID, the acronym DISID has been around since 1997, and we have two divisions, the Division of Vocational Rehab and the Division of Support Services. So the Division of Voc Rehab, as shared earlier, it's a eligibility program. It's not an entitlement program. As opposed to the Division of Support Services, which allows people to come in, receive case management services, advocacy services, even education and awareness about the disabilities and how do you overcome the disabilities and the utilization of technology, and also about their rights, their individual rights under the ADA, Section 504, 508. There's all these different laws that pertain to people with disabilities, not only on the federal side, but also on the local side, and dealing with accessible parking. So we have to, again, help provide technical assistance to the community, for the businesses, and also for people with disabilities, so they know what their rights are and what the obligations are for the businesses, especially when they provide access to goods and services.
Now, real quick, we got to go to commercial break, but what services are available on Guam to help our island's disabled community make use of the internet? I think that's a very, very key thing, because there's so much information and so many other things they could avail of and help them live their lives and everything like that. But so much of it is predicated on having a certain degree of sight and a certain degree of touch now when you talk about like mobile services and so many other sensory inputs.
And there are technologies like the JAWS reading software, which allows people with vision impairment to navigate a Windows environment, and utilizing this technology, they can hear and the description of the environment, the desktop environment and the icons, so they can actually visualize that in their mind and navigate through those graphic interface. But people with disabilities, again, with the use of technology, can overcome a lot of these challenges. And again, effective communication is a really critical key here. And in the community, people with disabilities have to deal with physical barriers, but also communication barriers. The most hardest of all those barriers is the attitudinal barriers that exist in the community. We look at discrimination, and that's why the Rehab Act exists, because that's one of the frameworks for, again, inclusion in the community, like the ADA, civil rights law, to allow people to, again, access goods and services equally.
All right. Well, Ben, I got to tell you, you've always been an inspiration for me, and I've always admired your work in figuring out how to apply technology the right way to make sure that people are truly helped. So I thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
All
having
right.
me here.
All right. Come back anytime. You know you're always welcome here. We'll always make time
Thank
for you.
you.
All right.
We'll be here.
Well, on that note, we have some advertising to show you, so we will back on the flip side of this break.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.